Do you guys feel that? It's super wild card weekend. It's not wild card weekend. It's super wild card weekend. And we're here to break down all the games for you today. Before we do anything, we need to drink a beer. But in this rare occasion, Andy, because he won a bet with us while we were watching the national title game, does not have to drink a beer unless he wants to. So cheers, everybody, and welcome to Super Wild Card.
Who's ready to chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks? Welcome to ChuggieBets.
It was a lovely weekend in the NFL. Let me pull up the records. So, Danny went 2-3, a little bit tough, but not a bad weekend. Chris went 2-2, lost the vig. I went 5-2, pretty good. But the big winner of the weekend is Al at 6-1. So he will get a chuggy bet. Unfortunately, no one else won a chuggy bet, which is crazy with the amount of wins we had. Did you win a chuggy bet?
I thought I won my chuggy bet.
Oh my God, you did. I'm sorry. Danny won a chuggy bet. I will drink in a second for being an idiot, not being able to read very well. So that is a shame on me. Danny has a drink to give, and Al has a drink to give. We could do a season recap. It really is the top three. I was in third place at 58%. Second place was Al, winning 61% of his bets, and the top spot. Congratulations, Andy. 62% on the NFL season. 60, 37-3. Placed 100 bets. 60 were winners, and 37 of them were losers. You want to say anything? You want to celebrate this win?
I'd just like to say that sounds very similar to when we recapped the college season a few weeks ago. So it's like old hat, you know. I'm not.
Turns out teasers are profitable.
Not all of those were teasers, sir. Not all of those.
But
every single one was a teaser.
Regardless,
okay, that's true.
We gave you a lot of winners this year, and if you're not following us, what the hell are you doing, fam? You don't like winning money? So Super Wildcard Weekend, regular season came to an end last week, week 18. It was a fun week. There were some really shitty games, but it was a fun week also. But that means 5 teams with playoff hopes got their hopes dashed. So in our normal fashion, we'll do a compliment sandwich to remember all of them. First, let's say au revoir to the Patriots. Danny, do you have anything to say there?
So, to New England, I guess I'm really talking to the city of Boston mostly here, not so much the entire New England region. But as a compliment, congratulations. You guys have figured out a way to do in-stadium racism even better than the South.
Congratulations.
As an insult, you guys ran off the greatest quarterback of all time like 4 years before he was done. What was wrong with you? That was dumb. And as a compliment, your coach is good.
Fair enough. To the Patriots. And let's not forget that backwards pass probably took him out of the playoffs. The backwards pass to Chandler Jones to run over Mac.
Play of the season. Play of the season.
Literally did. If they did not do that, they would have
been in the playoffs. Yes. If they didn't do that, their last game wouldn't have mattered. The Dolphins wouldn't have been in the playoffs. They would have been in.
It was the best. Cheers to them. We're also going to go to Pittsburgh next. Andy, will you memorialize the Steelers for us?
I will, absolutely. Pittsburgh, what a great working class town. Just a bunch of, really hardworking guys, nose to the grindstone, no nonsense. On the downside, lunch pail guys. Yeah, absolutely. On the downside, I'm not sure if you have a quarterback on your current roster. Kenny Pickett showed some flashes, but he also got hurt and was not great at other times. So not sure if you have a quarterback on the roster for next year. So that's not great. And then to finish it up, you have an amazing coach. So even if you don't have your quarterback, you'll still be, in the playoff hunt right until the last minute, right? If the Dolphins hadn't beat the Jets, you'd be in the playoffs. So that coach can do a lot with a little. So congratulations, Pittsburgh.
It is amazing that team. Is it correct that Mike Tomlin's never been under 500 at the end of a season? Or like the Steelers? It's remarkable. They were like 3-6 at the middle of the year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Is Mike Tomlin the most underrated coach?
Most under, yeah, but it's probably just because he's black that he gets underrated. I don't mean to he's like super handsome. He's like a football guy. He gives like great press conference.
Splash.
Thanks, Levitard Show. Yeah, that's,
I love Mike Tomlin.
He's the best. I obviously I wish the Dolphins should have had him, but he was too hip hop.
Stephen Ross, you're a delight. Let's take it to Tennessee, where Mike Vrabel gets to keep his penis for one more year. Congratulations, Mike Vrabel, even though your team was eliminated. Chris, will you remember the Titans?
Oh, yes, I will.
And we just got sued. Disney just sued us.
Music City. What a great place. From Broadway to the Sloppy Box. It's a fantastic place.
We all love a sloppy box.
Yeah. Well, poor Titans. You guys, some injuries plagued you, and you were streaky. You started off slow, then you gained momentum, and then you just fell apart. But you'll always have hot chicken and go Preds.
Go Preds, indeed.
Go Preds. That's good. Nice.
And Mike Vrabel gets to keep his penis. I feel like that should be a positive.
Yeah.
Do you think Mike Vrabel would actually chop his own penis off? Like I don't normally think that would happen, but if he could like make the deal with the devil, you think he would make that deal?
No, I think he made a bad joke on a radio show a long time ago.
Hilarious.
Honestly, no, Matt, you pose a good question because I honestly wonder if he would. Like I'm assuming he's done having kids. I guess the whole act.
He said that. That was his answer when they were like, "So would you cut your dick off for?" And he was like, "Well, wife and I are done having kids. We don't really need it anymore."
So it's really, if you think he would go celibate for a Super Bowl, then he has no use for his penis. Less to clean. I don't know.
Do you think Belichick would do that? You think Belichick would sacrifice his penis for another?
He already did.
Maybe.
In 1987.
Fair enough. All right, let's. I'm sorry, Al. This is going to be a tough one for you. Detroit Lions showed a lot of heart. Probably one of the best teams in the NFL the last 6 or 7, 8 weeks. But unfortunately, they came up one game short, even though they beat the Packers to eliminate them. Al, memorialize the Lions for us.
So Detroit as a whole, it gets shit on. A lot of people just love to just chalk that up as like a garbage town, Midwest, like Dust Bowl. And while there's reason for that, it's such a culturally diverse, like food mecca. Like you get like German food and Polish food and Indian food and like it's a great place for food if you ever want to make it there. It's not a spot you go to though, but it's like if you do, like Michigan is so beautiful. So there's that.
It is.
That's what they say about Detroit. It's beauty.
Not to interrupt this, but Detroit's downtown's been like revitalized, and it's not the joke it was.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just was. We made fun of Chris for LA smelling good. We can make fun of Detroit for its beauty.
Okay.
To shit on Detroit, you can still buy a house for like $12.
That's over.
So no, I mean you can still get.
They come with like a $150,000 in back taxes.
But I guess to add into my my negative here on the compliment sandwich, Baker Mayfield, suck a dick, man, suck a dick. All I needed was one more score. Yeah, I guess I don't have anything good here.
Baker Mayfield helped 3 teams not make the playoffs this year: the Rams, the Panthers, and the Lions.
The other thing I was going to say, Dolphins 9-8 in the playoffs. Jags 9-8 in the playoffs. Lions 9-8. Tough shit. Fucking sucks. But the Lions, great team, great effort. They did everything they could. Finished the season strong. Cards didn't fall their way, but hopefully if they can keep Ben Johnson as their offensive coordinator next year and he doesn't go take a head coaching job, future's bright, I guess.
All right, to Detroit. I think. I mean, we got to talk about Dan Campbell being like a coach of the year candidate, right? Like
good coach. Dan Campbell's a good football coach.
Yes. I'll drink to that.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say Al's thing about all the 9-8 teams is pretty fair when you talk about like the Lions not making it because they have to play, Green Bay twice a year and Minnesota twice a year. The Jags comparison is not like they play Houston twice, they play Indy twice, then they play the Titans twice. Like getting in at 9-8 is a joke. Like the Dolphins would have won that division too. So not a fair thing to complain about. No, they would have been way better than 9-8.
Imbalanced schedules and is dumb. And we should just do it like the Premier League. Everybody plays everybody once or twice, and just
everybody in the NFC plays each other once. Or like it's a 15 games. That would suck. I want more football.
That's kind of my point, though, right? Like you can't just say, "Oh, look at all these 9-8 teams. Some of them made it, and some of them didn't." Like it's not the same.
Agreed. Now, one final team that didn't make it, the Look at Me Louis of the year, Green Bay Packers, right? And I'll memorialize the Green Bay Packers. Cheese is dope. Cheese is probably the best food out there. It's very malleable. You can put it on tacos. You can put it on pizza. You could take the shred out of the bag and just shove it in your mouth. It is always good.
Pack it like a dip.
A cheddar whipper?
Are you guys not cheese packing right now? No?
I literally might.
Your team is not very good at all. And I think it starts at the quarterback position. Aaron Rodgers he was like a bigger distraction than he was a benefit as the 16th or 17th best quarterback in the league this year for a guy you're spending $50 million with. And if you get rid of him, it's like a $99 million cap hit. It's an impossible situation. He's got you by the short hairs. And do we talk about cheese? It's amazing. And that's it. That's what I got for you, Green Bay.
And it doesn't get made in Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm doing the same thing you were doing with Michigan. Green Bay, I just assume has cheese. I don't know else about it.
I'm just saying, even the good thing about Green Bay isn't about Green Bay.
Yeah. They're on a lake. They have water, I'm assuming. All right, so a couple people were fired today, and I want to make sure we memorialize them properly. Lovie Smith. Bro, you got a raw deal. Like, I understand you got a paycheck out of it, and that's probably you assumed you were going to get a 1-year deal on a paycheck and just be let go until they get the draft picks in. But Lovey, that sucks, dude. That's unfortunate.
I absolutely love when a coach says, "Fuck the draft pick. I'm going out and getting this win. Win one for the Gipper. Let's do this. Let's go out on a high note." And then it totally bones the team. Like, I would be pissed if that was my team, but if it happens to another team, objectively funny.
Agreed. Where do you think Lovie Smith lands? Like, do we all agree that he never gets another shot at a head coaching job in the NFL?
I don't think he will.
No chance.
I don't feel good. I don't feel comfortable saying never, but yeah.
Between his age and his ethnicity, I'm not. To be clear, I'm not saying that's the reason he shouldn't get another shot. It has absolutely nothing to do with whether Natty should get another shot. But in the NFL,
he's also had a bunch of tries.
Right. I just got a notification. Andy's going live on YouTube. Yeah, he probably. I could see him getting a DC gig somewhere, right?
Oh yeah. I think that's kind of his normal role. He always has a job in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you could end up in college again? I know that's close to you, Andy.
That's what I was thinking, but it's also so much work being a college coach with the recruiting aspect.
I think you have to be a coach at a college, and Andy, this is going to sound backhanded. I don't mean it as intended, but where like it's not a huge deal to win all the games, like where you could just be a middle of the road club, and Lovie Smith could be a selling angle.
Yeah,
right? Like
you should come to Miami.
hey.
Restore the.
But like a Boston college would be a great spot for him. Something like that, right? Where you can get some hardworking people. I'm not firing Jeff Hadley. I don't even know if he may have been fired, but I'm not firing the Boston college coach. But
Lovie Smith, new coach at Navy.
Navy. Some hardworking people. And Kliff Kingsbury. Arizona Cardinals were a calamafuck this year. It was a wild ride that they were on between him and Kyler. So RIP Kliff Kingsbury. Now, this is a more interesting one because I can see some Big 12 jobs wanting him back. He clearly runs an offense that's interesting for the college game. So you guys have any ideas where you would put Kliff Kingsbury?
Are there any Pac-12 spots?
Not a head coaching job.
Not right now. Arizona State was open a couple weeks ago, but it's closed.
I would not give him another head coaching job. He's never been a successful head coach.
Where?
I agree with that.
Who's at Stanford?
But it was David Shaw, but he retired.
Yeah, so he could take that spot.
I
think.
Not to interrupt, but just Jeff Hafley, still the head coach of Boston College.
Thank God. Thank God. I'm sorry. I'm glad I didn't fire his ass. Well, I guess I did fire him, but
I agree with Danny. He probably shouldn't get another head coaching job, at least not right away. But what about Mississippi State?
Ooh.
Taking over
an air raid?
Ran the same offense, yeah.
I legitimately don't think he wants to go to Starkville.
I don't want to go to Starkville.
I think he would do it for a big time job like that, though.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, well, here's the thing. The reason why I think he's taking a head coaching job in college is because he's going to get paid a lot more. And I think there's going to be one, if not several, of the 200 plus teams in college football that want him running their program.
I
think he's going to TV, bud. He's got a face for television.
No,
that's
he
a
doesn't.
good one.
Face is way overrated. Way overrated.
I agree.
The NFL's been hard on him. But he's still.
It's like being president. You age like 30 years in that 4-year span.
Give him like 3 months in the gym after not being an NFL head coach, and he's going to look great again.
What's it? That going to make his jaw show up?
Yeah, dude, I agree with Danny. I think he's going to take some time away from the game. I mean, granted, he's not going to try to like go fit in a college job. He's got plenty of money and that dope.
Yeah, Arizona's going to be paying him regardless. So
yeah, so nothing changes there. Take a year off, get yourself right, get that body right.
Jimmy Buffett lifestyle.
Get your jawline back up and cracking, and you're going to be good, dude. It's not like he's not unattractive. We can make fun of him because he's not the most attractive, but the guy is great looking. It's just obviously he's clearly not Andy's type.
He looks like if Ryan Gosling got hit by a bus.
Oh, I was going to say if Ryan Gosling needed a stunt double.
Yeah, that's like Ryan Gosling's really handsome.
He wouldn't even get hit
by a bus.
Yeah, and so would Kliff Kingsbury if he looked like Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, after getting hit by a bus, can still get it. All right.
Yeah.
I think he gives it. I think that guy gives it. I don't think he gets it.
Before we move on, anybody have predictions of other NFL head coaches that are going to get fired?
Mike McDaniel. Just kidding.
So there's only one spot really open outside of Arizona and Houston right now. That's Carolina. Do they have a coaching job? Oh, let's go into that conversation. So there's been a lot of news going around the internet, and it's a classic Jim Harbaugh in December and January where he postulates to get a raise. That would be my position. But the Carolina job is opened up, and I know that Harbaugh has been a big topic of conversation in Charlotte. Do you guys have any thoughts on the Harbaugh situation more than what I just contributed?
I think he's a dirty dickbag. I think he's a shitty, slimy human, and he fucking. I dislike everything about Jim Harbaugh's whole fucking vibe.
Sorry, and I should clarify, Jim Harbaugh. John Harbaugh is at Baltimore. He's going to live and die there. It seems like they love him and he loves it.
Yeah, he's up there with the best coaches in the league with Tomlin and Belichick. He's awesome. Harbaugh's.
Yeah, like I texted y'all earlier. I was like, sure, it looks like Jim Harbaugh's trying hard to get an NFL gig. And Danny, you said something like, or it sounds like his agent's trying to make Michigan fork out some more cash. But I just like the idea so much more of Jim Harbaugh just like working so hard to get out of Michigan while also being like, oh, I'm Michigan man through and through until tomorrow when I fucking dip.
I think I thought more about that take, and I'm actually thinking that he's just sees the writing on the wall with Michigan and doesn't want to do the work to overturn the roster to get it good again.
Yeah.
because I think that this was an older roster, and I think that the younger guys he probably just doesn't think are going to be able to step up and play right now or something. And
again, he probably just doesn't want to be out there on the recruiting trail 24/7.
He doesn't like the transfer portal stuff too. He's one of them that
he's a fucking he's like Dabo Swinney, but he's literally he's Dabo Swinney, but like up north of Mason-Dixon.
No, he's not Dabo Swinney. He's not out there preaching the image and likeness of Jesus Christ.
No, he builds everything in the name, image, and likeness of football. He like worships at the altar of football.
No, Dabo, in the sense that Dabo's like, paying players has ruined college football. That's a Jim Harbaugh take. That's for sure a Jim Harbaugh take.
I've never heard him say it, but it sounds right.
I don't think that he would be against paying players. I just think he's the kind of guy that would like it to be like either 100% over the table or don't do it. Like, I don't think he likes the fact that he doesn't have control over who gets paid and how and when. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't like have insight into that. I didn't like have a conversation with Jim Harbaugh and ask him. It's just that's the part of it, because he did the NFL and he didn't not like the paid players there. He wants to go back to the NFL. They make money.
You don't have a bug in Harbaugh's milk like you do in
no.
Jerry Jones's Johnny Walker?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
What about Ron Rivera? Is he done in Washington?
Should be.
Should he? I don't think he did a bad job. I mean, you got Carson Wentz as a quarterback. It wasn't his decision to go get Carson Wentz.
It was his decision to play Heineke for so long, though.
What was your other card? I get what you're saying. I think Heineke. I think he's done very well with the offensive talent on that roster at the quarterback position. Their defense is good. They have some skill players, but you get a Heineke or a Wentz, it's not great. I can see him being fired too. The NFL's a fickle sport, but
I just saw something that he's on the hot seat, so I don't know. But I guess they haven't done it yet. So normally it's day one or bust. But also, can we talk about how unattractive to a coaching candidate the Houston job is?
Okay.
It's a shit show. It has been a shit show for more than a decade now. The whole Bill O'Brien to David Cutcliffe. Is that who they hired? Or I don't know. They've had 6 coaches in the past 10 years.
Who's the one that gave all the picks to the Dolphins for Laramie Tunsil?
Bill O'Brien.
So Bill O'Brien ruined Houston. He killed the Texans with that trade.
He made a bunch of trades like that too. It wasn't just the Dolphins, but
that has to be the GM who is that's the play there, Billy. Let's go give him.
I think O'Brien was the GM at the time. He was both, which is the problem because the coach has incentive to win right now. And as GM, he said, fuck it, let's go for it. And he was really bad at it.
So Bill O'Brien and then Romeo Crennel was interim and did a season. And then David Culley was my mistake for one season. Then Lovie Smith for one season. It's it's bad. I don't know.
Dude's handsome, guys. I'm sorry.
That's not a recent picture. That's not a recent picture. Find a recent picture.
We're all zooming into Kliff Kingsbury's face right now. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you're really missing out.
How do you tell how recent these pictures are? Do I need to go to your Bing search, Andy?
Absolutely.
Android phone, Bing search.
But I guess the only other point while you're looking up more Kliff Kingsbury picks is a lot of coaches, especially first-time NFL coaches, they only get one shot. If they, they're at
he looks so tired. He looks so tired.
They never make the NFL the head coach spot again. So I don't know. I wouldn't want it to be. Yeah, that's not attractive.
Yeah, he looks so tired.
He looks like Jay Cutler after a bender.
So he looks like Jay Cutler.
He does look like Smoking Jay.
All right, a lot of these pictures are more attractive than I was giving him credit for. If you watched any Cardinals games and you saw him on the sideline, the man.
I'm just saying, this is what he's coming from. This is when he started at the Cardinals, and that's what he is now.
Kliff Kingsbury is that character from that Seinfeld episode that Jerry dates, the girl where
the Two-Face.
She's really pretty. Yeah, she's really pretty, but then in a certain light, she's hideous.
I'm just saying,
this is Two-Face.
This is what he turned into, and this is not good. He needs to get out of there.
Honestly,
like
even that is better than what I was thinking.
He looks like a cell phone has like shrunk his brain on one side or something.
He just looks so sad.
Well, that was still at Texas Tech, that last one you just showed.
Was it?
Yeah, look at the background.
Oh, damn, it is.
All right, we can stop talking about
All right. Two-Face. Yeah. He's Two-Face.
Yeah.
Houston's a shit job, right? And they keep hiring like fall guys, right? Cully to Lovie Smith until they have like a bigger picture. I think that's an awful place. Or they're gonna willing to grow with like a young coach may be the right move.
Well, before they hired Lovey last year, they were going to hire, who was it? It was a backup quarterback who had never coached at any level before.
Who was that?
It was McCown.
Yeah, Josh McCown. They were going to hand Josh McCown the head coaching job. Never coached before at any level, anywhere. Like even Jeff Saturday coached in high school at least, right? Like, and then they got so much backlash they went with Lovey. But maybe they go to Josh McCown.
Did he get some coaching experience this year?
I don't know.
I think he's like coaching high school or something. I actually saw something the other day about like now the Texans can go out and get Josh McCown. So like maybe
I wonder if there are lines on that. We should find lines on that.
While we're looking up those lines, there's a lot of conversations. We're coming off watching the national championship together. What a disaster that was. Do you guys have the final score? It was
65-7.
65-7. So let's recap everyone's bet here. Al, Sonny, Danny took TCU plus 13.5. Close, but you just missed that one. Andy laid the points. I can't even remember. You laid the points and you won. And I took Max Duggan to score an anytime touchdown. And thank God the only thing they scored was a Max Duggan anytime touchdown. So, all right. So we got 2 winners, 3 losers. But more than that, do you guys have any takeaways from the game tonight?
It was not as close as I thought it was going to be.
Fair enough.
Duggan didn't play well.
I don't know which is more. I guess I do know which is more surprising. I was going to say which is more surprising: TCU scoring 7 or Georgia scoring 65. And I think it's Georgia scoring 65.
Yeah,
it was definitely TCU scoring 7.
Okay.
I'm most surprised that the Johnston kid had like one catch, 2 catches, and
one catch for 4 yards. I think was his ending line.
3. Yeah.
Georgia took him out of the game plan. I get that they're good enough to do that, but that's.
I think Max Duggan took him out of the game plan too by like not being anywhere accurate with his ball most of the time.
So many overthrows. He came in too hyped. So many overthrows.
I don't think he came in too hyped at all. I just think he's a really good Big 12 quarterback, and I think.
I think Danny meant like hyped up, like excited.
Yeah, like amps. Like he came up too much adrenaline for the game.
Yeah, I think he got kind of rattled with all the Georgia pressure, and he was a little.
Michigan got to him a bunch too. He just got away, and he couldn't get away from the Georgia pressure. So maybe you're right. Maybe that right.
Yeah, so they were only rushing 3 or 4 all night, and they were getting to him in like a second and a half, and he was scrambling for his life, and it made things
there were times when their receivers were open, and he was just missing them, and they would get intercepted. Except for that one that he hit, that was still kind of underthrown, but the dude was so open that he caught it, and that led to their only touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, you have more throws than that. But not a lot more.
That was like the only big deep shot, but he took other deep shots and they got intercepted or weren't completed.
There were open receivers. There were plays to be had.
Yeah, he was clearly.
I mean, we're not talking like TCU could have won this. We're talking like TCU could have kept it within 30. Right.
You don't know once the train gets off the rails. It just keeps rolling. So if he had hit some of those throws earlier, and if they're going into halftime at like 24-21, I don't know if Georgia gets to 60. You know what I mean? They don't have as much time with the ball if TCU has the ball and is driving and scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was bad. It was a bad game. It was a real tough watch. I'm sorry. I got a caller on the line. Chris, you're here from East Atlanta. Chris, tell me about the Dogs.
Let me tell you something. Them Dogs, they came out aggressive and they went and they got it. they came out strong, very strong. And I, for one, I think that them and the SEC should just break off from the rest of college football, just have their own thing going on. That's all anybody wants to see anyway.
Preach.
Yes.
Make their own Super League.
Maybe we should do that. Yeah,
well, thank you.
Absolutely stand for Super League Conference.
This actually just inspired a great idea. They should do SEC Champions League.
They really should. They really should.
Run it back in the off season. Just have the SEC teams go out there and play.
So I was actually gonna say, like, that's one of the things I hate about this, right? Like, I love that I won my bet, but I hate that this just reinforces the like SEC is better than everybody. Like, it's such an old, tired like narrative, but like they can back it up now, right? Like, it's just so annoying.
What my takeaway from that would be is the top of the SEC is unrivaled. But the middle of the SEC, Danny said this a couple weeks ago, and he was dead on. The Big 12 as a whole was better, like from top to bottom. There was not an easy game in the Big 12. But the SEC at the top is just so loaded. If you're going to go Georgia, I know we crapped on LSU in the podcast, but LSU's really good. Alabama's good. Like those three are tough. That would be tough.
I think after watching the bowl game, I could finally say LSU's good.
Yeah, they're not bad, man. They're not bad at all. And
Tennessee was good when they had a quarterback.
Yeah. So it's that top to bottom, but like the Big 12, every game was tough for TCU, and they're tough for everybody. Like
Tennessee was good with their backup quarterback too, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In the bowl game, yes.
I mean, and in the only other game he played for a whole game against Vanderbilt when he put up like 60 points.
That's Vanderbilt. That doesn't count as an SEC game, right?
No, but it's still 60
We do not
points.
besmirch Vanderbilt on this podcast. We were riding with them in the first 3 weeks. Andy, you were celebrating Vanderbilt.
I know. I had their win total over. I know.
Let's not do that. Vanderbilt's a good school. And they're the only thing bringing up the education level of that whole friggin' conference. Florida exists.
Florida's a good school.
Yeah, it is.
Hard to say it, but you got to give them credit where it's due.
We
rarely wear shorts when you go there, but
you got to. Denim is important. So we don't normally stray from football too much, but there was a big story. I don't want to give Danny the floor here. As far as everything going on with Dana White and that sticky situation, there's a lot of elements of race and profession and everything going on.
Glad you gave me the floor because, like, when you think domestic abuse, this guy.
No, I mean you're the most eloquent on this.
Wait, we're doing pasta talk?
I don't know.
We're doing pasta talk?
I don't know if I'm the most eloquent, but it's just Dana White, the video came out of him hitting his wife at a club. I guess the part that really irks me is all the stuff on Twitter of like everybody arguing on his behalf because his wife hit him first. That's it's just what are they arguing? Like, what's the point of that? I guess I'm not. It's so hard to be eloquent in this scenario because like it should be whose was worse. I mean, they're both terrible. I mean, Dana White had an open. They're like, but Dana White had an open fist. Who cares? I mean, I guess we can agree that an open fist is not as bad as a punch because the NBA like fines less for open fists. Like there's a quantifiable fact that like if you slap somebody, you only get suspended 1 game, but if you punch somebody, it's 3. So all right, Dana White. You only go to jail for 1 million years instead of 3 million, whatever. Like,
Danny, this reminds me of a good comedy bit I've heard, where it's the guy is talking about how if you're talking about pedophiles, so there's different classes of pedophiles. Pedophile's like a really little kid, but there's also things like something called a hebephile, who's like preteen, and it's like that's what this person is, but it's like no, it doesn't matter. Like you don't need to get pedantic here because the second you start talking like that, you just sound like a pedophile. So it's like it's just better to like not be pedantic about a topic like domestic violence, right? So it's all bad. That's the point, right?
Yeah. It's all. That's really the whole point. It's all bad. Also, like. I just don't understand why. Like, there's video of him hitting his wife, and like he's not getting in trouble. Like,
that's really interesting, but it's because of the structure of the league, right? Like, he's not accountable to anybody. It's not like the NFL where you've got other owners and you've got a commissioner, and right, like he's the
he's not. There's a public company that owns that business. There's shareholders.
UFC's a publicly traded.
It's owned by ESPN now, right?
No, ESPN has the contract.
Media rights.
There's when they sold to a media enterprise that's a public company that owns them. I don't remember the name of it, but UFC is owned by a company with shareholders.
Do you think this was like a underground promotion thing, like to get Dana White versus his wife on like a primetime slot?
Now, that is kind of interesting because Dana White is coming out with a new slap league.
Is he? He's gonna kill it. He's gonna be like.
It's a true story. You know that. Those videos. No, it's not a joke. You know the videos you've seen of people who like slap.
Slap fighting.
Yeah, slap fighting, professional slap fighting. He's coming out with a league. And the fact that him and his wife slapped each other. I had never heard of this league that he's coming out with until this. So
did we just accidentally fall into Dana White's ploy to promote his new league? Did we just?
I mean, it's been talked about everywhere since then. The Slap Light Fight League. It's everywhere.
It's still a bad choice, even if that's the case. Like, he could have found somebody other than his wife to do that with, right? Like, he could have done it with like Joe Rogan or
man.
I just invented a conspiracy theory, and I fully am bought in on it now.
That was a quick turn. Now,
can we just read this quote from Dana White regarding Ray Rice? Right, another high-profile domestic case. This is what he said. There's one thing you never bounce back from, and that's putting your hands on a woman. Been that way in the UFC since we started here. You don't bounce back from putting your hands on a woman. Let's just remember that.
Didn't he like bring in who's the Carolina Panther DN?
Greg Hardy.
Yeah.
So if you want to buy stock in the company that owns UFC, it trades in the New York Stock Exchange, EDR, Endeavor Group Holdings. Used to be known as William Morris Endeavor Entertainment.
Is William Morris cigarettes? No, Philip Morris. Sorry.
That's his brother.
William Morris
Phil.
William Morris was the giant talent agency.
Oh,
Phil and Lil.
Yeah.
Anyway. Phil and Lil from Rugrats growing up to be tobacco and
fighting.
That's sort of my point. Like if the CEO, if there was like, what's the CEO of Disney's name that we just saw on TV? Bob Iger. If there was video of him slapping his wife in a club, he's not going to be the CEO of Disney anymore. Period. That's just the way. That's just the way the world works. So why does this guy just get a pass because it's MMA and all their fans are fucking assholes? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, literally, yes, Danny. That's the reason. All their fans are assholes.
I think you just offended our listener. Isn't our listener a fan?
Could Roger Goodell like just blindside hit his wife? Like just like a block, a clean block. I mean, they may throw a flag, but it's only 15 yards. He's not getting kicked out of the game.
If Roger Goodell was caught doing that video that we all watched of the guy like pass blocking with his wife in the parking lot, he would be no longer the commissioner of the league.
Well, because his blocking sucked. He's got to be better. You represent the league, man. But no, I agree. I don't think the nature of the league defends what he did, right? I understand it's a violent sport. It's an incredibly violent sport. But men aren't fighting women in that sport, right? Like there is a moral code. And I think his asses should be disciplined.
I also think there's a difference between comparing like UFC to the NFL or to Disney. I think a better comparison would be like comparing it to like the CEO of like Johnson & Johnson. It's like, like people, it's like notable, but like people don't care that much.
He's like, this No More Tears does have tears in it. He's like, we got him.
I said no more tears. Oh, God.
All right.
Well, I don't think it should be Johnson & Johnson because it has to be a media company. Like, what's his face? The CEO of ESPN got fired for people finding out he did cocaine. Like it.
Men's Health? Men's Health, maybe? Sports Illustrated?
I don't remember the old
That
CEO.
seems unfair.
ESPN.
He's on Middle Arc now.
Oh,
What
John
about-
Skipper?
Yeah,
Ooh,
John
what about,
Skipper.
like,
He was
Sepp
the CEO
Blatter?
of ESPN.
Like Sepp
Sepp-
Blatter, that seems.
You can't defend any of the FIFA like leaders. They're literally the most corrupt. I thought Sepp Blatter was bad. Infantino is far worse than the most corrupt sports owner I've ever seen.
He's the worst.
He is the worst. Salt Bay, that whole Salt Bay thing, we didn't go into it in a huge amount of detail here, but it was fucking atrocious. And it was only because he has a relationship with him.
Yeah.
What was this Salt Bay thing? I don't even know that.
Salt Bay got to
On the
hold the
field.
cup up before Messi.
You know Salt Bay, the guy who does this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the field celebrating just with the team and like got to hold the cup before the team.
Oh God.
He's
Yeah,
the
it was
worst.
ridiculous.
How come that guy hasn't gone live on YouTube yet?
He's going to. No, Infantino is a special case, but we'll work through the soccer stuff in a couple weeks because we're gonna have some space to fill and talk about the corruption there. We've got a couple other topics we want to talk about. Can I just take the stage for a second? I'm so happy. Bobby Petrino's back. We talked about him going to UNLV, which was great. It was going to be hilarious content, but I've got an idea that was even funnier and what we were rooting for. Jimbo Fisher had to give up his offense, likely, right? That's the speculation. He had to give up his offense to get an offensive mind as good as Bobby Petrino. Jimbo Fisher's never given up his offense. He runs that thing like an incredibly boring tugboat, right? Like not a sexy boat, maybe like a kayak or like something very boring. But it works for the most part when you have the right players. But Bobby Petrino is going to be running the offense likely at Texas A&M. And I cannot wait till week 10 when Jimbo shanks Bobby Petrino on the sideline because they're going to fucking lose it. It's going to be the best drama. I'm going to watch all the Texas A&M games and just watch the sideline. If they don't have like, you know how like you watch a national championship, they have like 63 different views like you can watch with the coaches. I want Bobby Petrino Jimbo cam. That's it. I just want to watch them despise and spit loathsome statements at one another.
Did you
I don't know
say
if anyone
week
else has
10?
Whatever.
Because I think you're like, yeah, you could half that number. That sounds about the right spot.
It's going to be great. It's going to come to a head in a
go
violent fashion. And I'm going to watch every minute of it because
Week
Jimbo yells
zero.
at Jameis.
Week 0. Halftime of week 0.
Jimbo famously grabbed Jameis's helmet, the Heisman winner, and pulled him in. There was no one better in the country than him. Bobby Petrino's good. He ain't the best. He's going to shank his ass. It's going to be hilarious.
Oh.
Minus the death, of course. But I don't know if anyone else wants to add anything there, but I'm excited.
No,
I think you nailed it.
I think you nailed it, bud.
All right.
That was pretty good.
We got one more topic. Oh, we got a couple more topics before we get into. We got a small slate. But it is super wild card weekend.
Super duper.
Kansas City, Las Vegas. It was not a close game, but there were some shenanigans that Andy Reid or someone put in. I don't know if you guys saw the huddle that they did with the merry-go-round effect. Anyone have anything to add here?
This reeks of Travis Kelce.
It reeks of
Pathetic.
Brodom.
It just reeks of him being like, guys, how cool would it be?
Yeah,
Bro.
the worst thing about this
Bro,
whole
what
like,
if?
horse shit. So if you're not familiar with the play, basically they all huddled up and freaking spun in a circle and did a little merry-go-round dance, and then they sprinted to the line and they ran a reverse pass or double reverse pass maybe. It's total bullshit. Defense did not fall for it. They completed the pass. The defender missed the tackle, and the guy ran in like for a 5-yard touchdown. And the worst part about it was that Kansas City actually scored on it because it worked. It didn't work, but it worked. You know, I hate it. It's not even like a fun play. It's like a
The double reverse pass is a fun play, but I don't want to hear this about football trick plays not being fun. That was a fun play. Now, the fact that it didn't work and it should have been blown up when trick plays get blown up, that's one of my favorite things in football. But the fact that the guy missed the tackle that he should have made when he was blowing up the play, like when trick plays work, really fun. When trick plays get blown up, really fun. But when a trick play is supposed to get blown up and a guy misses a tackle and then the trick play like gets a bunch of yards when it shouldn't have, that sucks.
Yeah.
So I've got no problem with trick plays. I love trick plays, but the merry-go-round part of it, like to me, that's just, I don't know.
Stupid.
I'm going to sound like a boomer here, but it's disrespectful, childish, right? If I was on the defense, I'd be like, that's it. I'm hitting Mahomes on the next play. Like, I don't care if the whistle blows, I'm hitting him because that was disrespectful. I feel disrespected.
I didn't feel disrespect. I thought it was kind of cute.
Like you want a good trick play? How about a bubble
annexation
screen?
of Puerto
How
Rico?
about a bubble screen hook and ladder? Did you see that by the Lions, or was I the only one up watching that game last night?
No, I saw the bubble screen hook and ladder. Did you see the? Did you? What was the? Was it in the Dolphins game? They tried a lateral early on. What game was I watching that they did that? It was a guy. He caught like a pass in the middle of the field. It was a Titans game, I think, where they tried to. They threw it like.
Trey Burks.
Yeah.
Trey Burks. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just threw it wildly over his head. It was an illegal forward pass.
Yes, I remember that now. Yep, and it got flagged. Not nearly enough laterals in football, in my opinion.
Agreed.
No, it really should make the
ball
game
backwards.
You know what would make it better?
Backwards more often.
I feel like you should get multiple forward passes if you did a slappy like that. You know, if you just like punch it forward instead of having to throw it, it would make the game much better.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They should also get rid of the crossbars and just add 2 more uprights.
I think you're right.
And then everyone's Australian.
Yeah.
Enhance them.
What do you guys think about less pads, more mullets, shorter shorts?
Dude, I love this. I love everything you're saying right now.
Can we change
March?
the name
I can't wait. March.
McDonald's, can we just change it to something shorter? Because that seems exhausting. Let's just call it like Macca's.
Macca's.
Right? It'll be a major advertiser.
This is so inside.
Did you guys see the end of the Dolphins game? I'm sure you did, right? Everyone here. But the spread, right, was -3.5 at the end of the game. And that game, no one should have to watch. But I know at least 3 of us were watching and dying with bated breath. Danny was at the stadium watching every soccer kick going through the uprights. My son made a joke. He's like, is this like soccer? You can only score with your feet. And I was like, that's a good one. That's a good one. I was like, that makes me laugh because it was 9-6 going into the final minute or 30 seconds.
Well, what's funny is I think we had more than one person in the group chat predicted a 9-6 final score in this game.
Yeah.
And then the last play happened.
Close. They were so close.
Joey got it, right? Joey hit it.
He did not.
Because of the safety.
Oh yeah, because of the safety.
Yeah.
So Joe Flacco looked like a friggin' puzzled person throwing a ball on the second time he got the ball, which in his defense, he usually doesn't throw the ball twice on one play. But when that ball went backwards, it was a delight. But if you had the Dolphins -3.5 for some reason in that game, that had to be just the most joyous occasion to win on a lateral safety.
Should have teased it to 2.5.
Should have teased it. You would have been safe from the jump. I'm sorry. I didn't know if anyone else had as much fun as the.
I accidentally teased both the Jets and the Dolphins in that game, and won them both. So that was nice.
That is nice.
The most baller way to win.
I didn't even want to have the Jets teaser. I had them both with the Bengals, and
that should be a test next year. We should every time you tease one way, you got to tease the same game the other way, and see
you
which
just
one.
They have those bets available where you're just like between 1 and 6 points and 1 and 6 points or whatever.
No, but I mean, you do teasers and then you see which one came out ahead at the end of the year.
The same game teaser of the day of the week. It's a double chug.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be participating in.
If I could get better odds, than the regular -120 on a teaser, I would do the same game teasers.
Andy hated the mystery game of the week or the random game generator. He's not going to go for the single game double parlay. No,
I was just so bad at it.
The single game double teaser. All right. We got Sean Payton talk. Anyone want to add much? I know there's been a lot of rumors. Sunshine, do you have something on that? On Sean Payton? I don't know who had that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me every goddamn thing you know about Sean Payton. Chris, go.
No, I just heard that he is not that anything's going to come of that. Reached out and asked if they could talk with him because they had to reach the league since he's Orleans, and talks with him January 19th.
So does New Orleans still own his contract, right? So they will need draft picks or some sort of trade.
Maybe Sean Payton in Denver.
Well, they might trade Russell Wilson for Sean Payton. Actually.
Wow. What a trade. What a trade that would be. They would probably need – I know Denver gave up a haul for Russell Wilson. I don't know what they have left unless they actually traded Russell Wilson in New Orleans, which would be hilarious. But I don't know what to make of any of this.
It's also hilarious that Denver is sitting at home and Seattle's in the playoffs. Like, that's hilarious also.
I want to let me look up some stats really quick. You guys can talk in the background, but do you think Sean Payton is actually that good of a coach? Like, I know he had a very dynamic offense, but like, I always had this problem with the NFL. Like, what is the coach and what is the quarterback? You know, like if you have a great quarterback, it's much easier to win in the league from what I can gather. But I'm not that savvy of an NFL like talent.
I think he was mostly Breeze. I think Breeze was pretty underrated during his time in San Diego.
I think it's mostly the other way around.
You would.
Yeah, I would.
What an eloquent argument.
Sorry, I'm trying to grab some stats. So Geno Smith this year completed 70% of his passes, which is pretty good. 30 tutties. Not as nice. 69.8. I was very excited to see that. 30 touchdowns, which is 2.5 times the amount of bathrooms that Russell Wilson has in his house, and 11 picks.
So he just got really good all of a sudden? Is that the implication?
It's not all of a sudden, but he hasn't played in 8 years.
Maybe Pete Carroll's awesome too. Have we considered that? Like
Pete
Carroll maybe a better
coach. The coach makes the quarterback, not the other way around.
I could not disagree with you more.
Man, you know, to your point, Danny, the Patriots are still in the playoff. Wait, no. They have a shitty quarterback, and all of a sudden...
Yeah, and you're saying the coach makes the quarterback. You just made my point for me.
No, you were saying quarterback...
If they still had Tom Brady, they'd make the playoffs. You made my point for me.
Hang on. I can do this again. I can do this better.
Come on back. You got this.
Fuck.
End it on fuck. End it on fuck. This is over.
Danny, chug a beer.
Okay.
There you go. I want you guys to know that Russell Wilson.
Chug a beer.
Russell Wilson had 16 touchdowns to Geno Smith's 30. Same amount of picks, which is nice. They were level there. Yeah, what an amazing season for Geno Smith. I'm super happy for that guy. Got punched in the jaw, got taken out of the league for a little bit, was lambasted. We made fun of the shit out of him going in this league. Andy wouldn't bet Geno Smith because he was so afraid of him, and I'm happy for that dude. It probably ends this week, and that'll be a good transition into this first game.
I have way too large of a bet on him winning comeback player of the year.
I do want to say...
Who else will it be?
McCaffrey.
Oh, fuck
or
that.
Saquon.
I know. Saquon could also get it, but the favorite right now is McCaffrey. Which
I just want to hit you guys with a quick trivia question because talking about Andy refusing to bet on Geno while the Seahawks covered relentlessly. Do you guys know which team this year was best against the spread?
The
San
Ravens.
Francisco.
Nope. Danny, got a guess?
best against the spread, Atlanta.
Detroit. Let me take a step back.
New York Football Giants.
Giants, yeah.
13-4 against the spread.
13-4. Damn! You could have just laid them or taken their points.
Taking points, and they keep winning.
They were dogs most of the time.
Yeah, let it be a lesson. But anyway, let's get into picks, eh?
Let it be a lesson. The NFL always takes some points. Don't lay the favorites.
Matt did such a good job leading into Geno Smith to transition to Seattle San Fran. I just shit all over it by giving you guys.
You can do the work. I'm gonna sit here and drink. Al, you work right now.
So we got Seattle and San Francisco. Who's got plays? That's our.
I've got to play. Al, thank you for asking.
Wild card weekend.
The Giants are really good at covering spreads, right? So now I'm going to take the points here. I think San Francisco is probably the best team in the NFC for my money. I also think that eventually Brock Purdy is going to show some sort of pressure and stress, and there's going to be a little bit come off the apple a bit. 10.5 feels like too many points against the team. I don't think Seattle's going to win here, but it just feels like too many points with Brock Purdy as the starting quarterback. I know they're good. San Francisco's got the best defense, and they're really good. They can run the ball. They got all the playmakers, but keep it in a single-digit game. That's the way I feel. Sonny?
I took Seattle with minus 10.5. Wait.
Plus.
No, plus 10.5.
Plus.
Yeah. Sorry. Late night.
Yeah,
all right.
It's the kind of game where I want so badly to bet San Francisco, but the number just sounds so stupid to do that. So I like it.
Just like this Georgia game, it seems so dumb. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I like laying points when they're like big points too. I know this. I'm sorry, taking points when there's big points too in the NFL.
Yeah.
I feel like games have a tendency to stay closer, especially in the playoffs, but that's not always true either. I remember many times Houston was like an 18-point dog like 10 years ago, and they would have TJ Yates playing.
No.
You remember TJ Yates?
Yeah.
And that dude would lose games like 31-0. So I think if you have your starting quarterback, the game should stay close, but
yeah.
I mean, the Dolphins have gotten blown out with their starting quarterback in the first round. That happens.
Oh, what a classic. 1999. Oh, we were talking about this beforehand. We could party like it's 1999 in the state of Florida. You know why? Because the last time all three major franchises in the state of Florida made the playoffs was 1999 until now. So congratulations, Florida. We've done it. We've done it. Tampa to Jacksonville, all the way down to Miami. This godless state has hit the jackpot. Cheers. We hit a trifecta, boys.
Wait, UCF didn't make the playoffs? I'm sure they're claiming they did, right?
They got a national championship. They just claimed for it.
They're in the Tax Slayer poll #1 team.
Anyone else have feelings on Seattle, San Francisco before we dance on?
I'm going to bet some props for Geno Smith passing things, depending on the numbers.
Oh.
And possibly some rushing things for San Francisco.
I think I like the over. I'm not going to have it as a play here, but I'll probably consider playing. I think you said it was like 43 or something like that.
I think it's 43 when I looked earlier. I don't know. Andy, if you have any updated numbers?
Yeah, I see 43.
Yeah. I don't know. It just feels like Seattle might be able to score some points, and San Fran's going to win. So ipso facto, take the over. I don't know.
Feels just like a 28-17 game all the way.
It does.
Is probably about where the total is.
Let's make it 24-20, and then everybody kicks. No. 24-20, everyone kicks a goal. Chris and I win. Let's throw it over to Jacksonville. Duval. We got the Chargers coming into the Jags. I will let all three of you go first. Let's start with Al, who represents the 904.
Yeah, so there were 3 of the games this week that I bet immediately when the lines came out because it just felt like the line was not good. This is one of them. Jacksonville, I got it plus 2.5, but for the podcast's sakes, at least earlier today when I put it in here, or earlier tonight, there was a 1.5 still out there. But Jacksonville plus 1.5, plus 1. They're going to win this game. The Chargers, 1, are traveling across the country. 2, are not good. And 3, they're gonna get fucking train wrecked by Duval. And Duval's gonna show up, dude. It's gonna be a good crowd. It's gonna be Jack's heavy. It's gonna be a loud crowd, just like it was this past week. The end.
Jacksonville is a good crowd to go to a football game around, or just go to an event around. So,
especially if Dallas or New York or some one of those teams are in town, because the stadium's full of those fans. So I would take it easy on the fandom of the Duval County.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. You couldn't have got a better opponent then.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Coming from fucking San Diego or LA to come watch the.
That's
Jags
true.
whoop
The
that
least
ass.
popular crowd is coming into town. They took that team.
they're not coming for the weather.
From one beautiful place to another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Jags also. It's a long way to travel on a short week, and I actually think the Jags might be the better team, and I'm getting them with points. I'm also going to tease the Jags. I'll give the other half of the teaser later, but teasing the Jags from 1 up to +7. You're not going through 7, you're going 2-7, so it's not technically a Wong teaser, but it's close enough with the limited slate of games.
I love that a lot.
And I'm doing Jags +1 with Al, and I'm doing the teaser up to 7. I'll probably, this line's been moving, so I'll probably lock in these teasers earlier than I normally would, because I'm concerned it's going to get down to even, and then I'll only get to 6. So.
What's a stupid amount, like an irresponsible amount to bet on a teaser?
I mean, it depends on your
Depends
unit
on your
size.
unit size. 10 units, Al, is a stupid amount to bet. 10 units.
Okay.
You guys are all dumb. This is the easiest bet of the week. The Chargers are better on defense. They're better at passing, and they're better with Eckler in the backfield. This is like the one strength Jacksonville does have is a pass defense. And the one thing that the Chargers have improved on since week 9 is their pass. Jacksonville's really good at the passing attack. The one thing that the Chargers have really improved on is their passing defense. Derwin James will be back. Everyone's going to be back. We got a Bosa in the starting.
So your argument is that all the hurt guys that improve the pass defense aren't going to play?
No, I'm saying everybody who was hurt is back now. And since then, they've been
considerably
better.
They improved while they weren't hurt, though. Like when they played the Dolphins and their pass defense was better, it was all backups.
Yeah, I know. They've gotten better. Their defensive numbers, their DVOA is like top 3 since week 9. They're really good, and this is going to be a joke. -1 all day. Lay it with the Chargers. This is going to be an easy one. I'm going to take that confident stance. That's fine. Let's take it over to a game that's going to break my heart when I make
2 good quarterbacks in that game, though.
It's going to be fun.
Good fun watch. I'm glad that's the night game.
What's the over under in that game? That may be a fun number to look at. 47.5. It's a little high, but
it's not even a 50. I'm not going to bet.
You can tell me I'm wrong, but I feel really good about the Chargers. I think the Chargers are better at every portion of the field.
You may have talked me out of having that in my ChuggieBet teaser, so we'll see.
No, you could do the teaser. What the hell do I know, right? These two have won 61% of their bets, but
I know the next one is probably going to be my ChuggieBet because the Dolphins getting blown out in the first round of the playoffs is fucking clockwork. Even if Tua plays, they're going to beat us because we just get blown out in the first round of the playoffs. It's our thing. The last time we won a game in the first round of the playoffs, Lamar Thomas, what was his last name?
Lamar Thomas.
Lamar Smith.
Lamar Miller. Oh.
It was it was longer ago than that. Lamar Smith beat Peyton Manning in like 1998, 1997.
It's been a minute since we
won
a
game.
That.
It was bad. Nah, it's like 2000, 2001 maybe. I don't know. But he had to run for 200 yards.
I'll take a run at this. I'm assuming Skylar Thompson is going to play quarterback in this game. And the Skylar Thompson I saw play in this game can't go on the road and beat the Buffalo Bills or even be competitive with the Buffalo Bills in this game. They're going to be heated up. That town is crazy. It's probably outside of Kansas City. It's the hardest environment to play in the NFL. I just don't see this going well for the Dolphins at all. So lay the 10.5 with Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Matt. Just doing basic logic here. Assuming Tua doesn't start, even if Tua starts, I think I still like it. But assuming Tua's on the bench, what's like the most optimistic point total? I said this to Andy earlier, that you think a Skylar Thompson-led Miami Dolphins offense can put up against the Buffalo Bills defense? Because
17. 17
yeah,
is as
yeah,
optimistic as I get.
Okay, so do you think the Dolphins defense can keep the Bills to 28 points or less than 28 points? I don't think that's happening. So this is free money. Bills minus 10.5. If Tua starts, you can maybe balk at it or hedge or bet yourself out of it by taking the other side. But Buffalo minus 10.5 is easy.
So I'm on the other side of this.
Homer.
Yeah, maybe. 11 is too many points if Tua plays for sure. And there's still a chance on Wednesday that they might announce that Tua is playing. And this number is going to just plummet if they announce that. It'll close less than a touchdown if they announce Tua is playing, I think. The Dolphins went in there, 3 weeks ago, and lost by a field goal in the last second. And then what the weather's
Teddy Bridgewater. No, that was with Tua.
No, Tua played amazing in that game, and they had to come back down and score to win. Right? We were actually in the lead 29-28 at the end of the game or whatever it was. So, yes. Sorry, go ahead, Andy.
No, you're making my point. I appreciate it. That's awesome. It's gonna be better weather, right? So our Hawaiian quarterback and all of his Miami friends should be a lot more comfortable. It's just too many points. I obviously don't like it as much if it's Skylar, but there's a chance that it's Tua, and 11 is just a lot of points.
Tua's worth like 20 points for the Dolphins, though. So, like, I would not take the 11 on the 20% chance that Tua plays.
What number would you make it if Tua was playing? Either of you, anybody.
I would take 3, I guess.
7.5.
My numbers say 7.5, actually.
11.5 seems dope. Or 10.5 seems great. I'm laying the 10.5.
All right. And you all hope I'm right. So.
Oh, hell yeah. If this ends up hitting on the money line, I don't care. I don't care about losing the bet at all. Danny, are you going to be upset if we lose our bet but we win the game? No one's going to care.
Only if we win the game.
If we lose by 1, you're like, fuck this. Let's go to the 4:30 window on Sunday. We got 2 interesting teams in the NFC. We got the Giants going into Skull Country in the Minnesota. Let's start with Andy here.
Sorry, Andy, I'm going to cut you off. Matt, can you repeat the time of that game?
4:30 p.m.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead, Andy.
I don't buy into this whole there's only 30 minutes a week that Kirk Cousins is good, because I don't think he's that good at any time.
You're so wrong.
I think both of these teams are wildly overrated. Neither one of them is that good. I'm actually a little bit upset that they're playing each other, because I was hoping to fade them both in the playoffs. But the Giants are much bigger frauds than Minnesota. Minnesota's got Justin Jefferson. He's going to be the best player on the field. And don't come at me with Saquon. So 3 points at home to a fraudulent Giants team. I'll lay those 3 points with Minnesota.
Sonny? Chris, you there, buddy?
I'm going to go kind of the opposite end scene. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, keep going. You're good.
Yeah.
I just think that I think that Minnesota has been kind of on a, not a downward spiral. It's not that bad. They are not as strong as a team as they were earlier.
Trajectory.
Yes, thank you. And that, I think the Giants really have something to play for. They're trying to prove that they can contend. And so they're coming to win, and that's why I'm going with the Giants. +3.
That's a suspicious number. That 3 is a weird one, right? Because
why is that suspicious, Matt? They played already this year, and it was 27-24.
it just seems weird to me. Like considering the records,
Seems like exactly the right number.
I don't know. It just feels weird to me. It feels weird to me. I'm gonna
Danny,
avoid
you
the
seem like exactly too hostile.
No, that's okay. Danny, what are you gonna do with this?
There's nothing stinky about this one, but that's why I'm gonna tease it up. I'm gonna take more points. I'm gonna go with the Giants. I'm gonna take more points. Now, I'm sick of Andy saying Kirk Cousins is bad. These are his numbers for this year. This is just this year. I mean, his career numbers are awesome, but like he threw for 4,500 yards, 29 touchdowns. He did have 14 interceptions, which is a little bit high. But I mean, he's awesome. Kirk Cousins is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he has been for like 7 years. It's enough with the Kirk Cousins hate.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Those numbers are good enough for second in the division. I love it.
No, I think he's great. I think he. What is that, Jared Goff? Jared Goff statement.
How about the 13 wins?
Yeah, that's just some fluky bullshit.
No, we were talking about Saquon Barkley. I think I'd rather have Dalvin Cook. I think if Dalvin Cook was the running back for the Giants, I'd feel better even than Saquon Barkley. I know he's been the comeback player of the year, but come on now. That offense
Those are
is
both
not
great running backs. Those are both
I
great
agree.
running backs. They do it differently. They do it differently. I mean, Saquon's probably faster than Saquon and can catch the ball a lot better. But
Saquon is a great receiver.
Saquon did a great job out of the backfield this year. But
I was going to say, I think they do it the same way. They put up a full season's production in 10 games, and then they miss 7.
Hey, that's a good fitness plan. If I could work like 70% of the time and get paid for 100%, I'd do that shit too in their defense. So let's take it to 8:15 on Sunday, the NBC game. We got Baltimore going into Cincinnati. Al, what you got?
Yeah, lay 6.5 with Cincy. I know this is probably a square pick, and the potential exists for Lamar Jackson to play and make this a little bit different ball game. But Cincinnati's good, and this is less than a touchdown. And Baltimore's not good. I don't know how Baltimore keeps this a game. Their defense is good, but has any defense been able to slow down Cincy this year? Not that I've seen.
Not really well.
Joe Burrow's fucking awesome. I agree with you. I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to play for one, but I'm teasing Cincy down to -0.5. And this is another one I want to lock in early because once it's confirmed that Lamar Jackson isn't playing, the line might go over 7.
Sunshine, do you have any insight on if Lamar Jackson is or isn't going to play? Like, do you know anything more? I feel like you're better at the personnel issues. I know you're not on the team, but
am I? Maybe I am.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
I'll tell you what, the listener doesn't know. I think that they have to play Lamar Jackson if they're serious about this game. But with that said, I'm still taking the Bengals. I think that one thing that I would never, that generally I wouldn't do is bet on the same team to win times in a row against like the same, to be team 3 times in a season. But this time, I think Cincinnati's pretty pissed off, and they're ready to beat everybody that's in front of them.
Hey, you always say Joe Burrow's like the best quarterback in the league? He has the same stats as Kirk Cousins, just 6 more touchdowns. That's the only difference. So just throwing that out there.
6 touchdowns is the same amount of picks?
Yeah.
6 touchdowns is a big number.
Slightly less yards.
20% more touchdowns?
35 versus 29.
6 divided by 29. So, 20% more touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big number. We're just doing on a 17 game
season. We're comparing quarterback stats. A fun one I saw today.
It's Jared Goff. I'm going to guess it's Jared Goff is the answer.
No. Tom Brady, since he turned 40, has better stats than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I believe it. He's an asshole.
Isn't that insane?
Yes, it is. Anyway, so I'm teasing the Cincinnati game. I think it's at 6.5, so I get it at half a point. Basically, I just need them to win, which there's no way we don't get two Joe Burrow playoff games.
I love the fuck out of that, Danny, teasing that one. I'm having a hard time picking which one I want to tease it with. So I have teased it. I think I teased it with. I thought about the Giants, but then I think I chickened out and did it with the Bucks.
I'm doing it with both. I'm doing it. My teaser's basically around Robin. I'm doing all the teasers with all the other ones. So I got the Jags, the Giants, and the.
Actually, I think I teased the Niners down to 4, and then the Bengals to 0.5. But I'm not locking that in as a play. I'm trying to get in on the teaser game. You guys are doing so well with those.
They've been good the last couple of weeks. The lines have been so close.
Yeah.
Vegas has gotten really good at setting lines at the end of the year. Is that kind of a strategy, like to tease more at the end of the year when the numbers get better because Vegas has more like a greater depth of information?
Yeah, certainly makes sense. If you go into it with the theory that the lines get stronger throughout the year, then
right, because
points are more valuable.
You can make the most money at the beginning of the year, right? Where there's less information out there.
Money line round robins are always most valuable the first week or two of college football and NFL season. So we always find those shit. Yeah, nobody knows shit. So the underdogs are more likely to win. Like nobody knew that fucking Geno Smith was going to be this.
Yeah.
Nobody. I was hating on him so hard at the beginning of the year.
Nobody, baby.
And then I want this to be on the record. Al and I both shit on Cincinnati so hard at the week 5.
Yeah, you did.
Or the week 6.
I said they were a 500 team.
We both did. I think I said they were below 500. So.
Oh yeah.
Cold takes exposed or whatever that shit is.
They stopped losing after that.
I know they just didn't lose again. All right, final game. We go into Monday night. Has this the first time they've done wild card games on Monday? I don't remember.
It feels like it.
Yeah, it feels pretty shitty. It feels like a dumb thing to do and a rude thing to do to the team that wins this one.
Yeah, it's like a disadvantage. I'm assuming they're going to play Sunday night the next week to give them the most time, but. We got Dallas going into the Fighting Tom Brady's at the pirate ship. What do you guys got? Let's go with Al first.
Yeah, are we considering this a cyclone? This is
no.
It's not, but it kind of is. It's like we got to come up with a name for this. I'm on Bucks +3. So Tampa's bad, right? Like they can't get their shit together, but their defense is good at stopping the run, I think. No, that's not accurate. They're good at running the ball. I don't know. I don't know why I like Tampa here. I just do. It feels like a bad number, so it feels like that means Tampa's going to win. So I want to be on that side.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat you are, where I'm confused with why I'm doing this, but it just feels like the right number. I think Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott. I'm not saying anything wrong, but Dak Prescott has not had a great season this year, and I think Tom Brady at the playoffs at home is a dangerous proposition, especially when you give me 3, right? Because likely in a bad situation, I'm going to draw the money back, so it's worthwhile risking the 3 in order to get my money back if they only win by a field goal late. Dallas does have a good defense. Tom Brady's really good against defenses. Dallas's offense, while running the ball, has been favorable. The passing game has lacked a little bit over the last few weeks. I think the right play here is Tampa Bay +3.
Yeah, I like the Tampa +3, but I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna just include. I don't like it enough that I'm going to bet it, so I'm going to include it in my teasers. So I got four there. It comes out to 6 total plays.
Hell yeah. I love the teaser there.
And that's the second half of my teaser as well. If it's at 3, it was at 2.5 when I looked at it earlier. If it's at 3, it's, again, not technically a Wong, but close enough. With the limited slate of games, you're not going to find as many true Wongs. So it's close enough. I'm teasing that one with the Jags as my other team.
Hell yeah. All right, so let's run through the picks. There's not that many games. Seattle, Chris and I are taking the points with Seattle in the Chargers-Jacksonville. Al? Andy and Danny are taking the points. I'm laying the points there at 1, and Andy and Danny are teasing that up to 7.5 or 7. In the Buffalo-Miami game, Al, Danny, and myself are laying. Andy is going to take the points on the hope that Tua is back. In the Giants-Minnesota game, we got Andy laying. We got Sunshine taking the points with the Giants, and Danny's teasing. Baltimore-Cincinnati, we are laying points with 6.5 for Al and Chris, and Danny is teasing. And in the nightcap on the Monday night, we got Tampa Bay taking for me and Al, and Danny and Andy are teasing Tampa Bay up to 8.5. So we got everything locked in there. Anyone have anything else they want to cover before we get out of here? Chris, you have any questions about like fingers bourbon? Oh, sorry, Danny, what you got?
Oh, just one thing. Andy had mentioned it's not a long teaser, but that 9-point number I do like to get to on a teaser because of this renewed emphasis that has been happening a lot this year, where when the team is down and coming back, they go for 2 on the first one, so that if they get it on the first one, then they've already had it. If they don't, then they can go for 2 again on the second one instead of kicking 2 extra points, and that can kind of affect the totals a little more. So that ninth point, if they're trying to go for the 2 to get to within 7,
I didn't even think about that. That's very smart.
So the 9th point is a little more important than it used to be. So teasing it up from 3 can be a better number now.
So if someone's a field goal dog, you can tease that up comfortably because of being down to 2 scores. And yeah, that's good. That's really cool.
Just crossing over the 7 was important before, but getting to the 9 can be important for a push now.
All right, Sonny, you got anything for us? Any fun observations you got, or we ending this bad boy?
We're ending it.
All right. Well, hey everyone, thank you. I think we gave out all our drinks. Wait for next week.
Are we making Chuggy Bets, or are we just going with the vote?
Oh shit! Thank you, buddy. Thank you for that. Let's do our Chuggy Bets. Al, what you got?
I'm gonna go with Jack. Jags plus 1.5.
Yep. All right, Andy, what are you doing as your Chuggy?
Minnesota -3.
Minnesota -3. Sonny, what you got?
Cincy.
Cincy -6.5. Danny, what you got?
The Cincinnati and Jags teaser.
Okay. And I am going to go with the Chargers -1.
Hey, somebody's gonna win a Chuggy Bet.
Al and I are going contentious on this.
I love it.
So, all right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us on the Super Wildcard Weekend edition of the Chuggy Bets podcast. Wait for next week. We're gonna get weird. We may talk tennis. We may talk soccer. We may talk horse racing or darts. I don't even know. But make sure you come back, and we'll definitely cover the regular wildcard weekend or whatever division weekend. Is that what it is? Divisional weekend of the playoffs in the NFL.
There's going to be some January transfer window talk next week. We got to.
Please let me talk January transfer soccer. I would love that. But until then, thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. And good night, Joey.
Good night, Joey.
Hey, Joey.
Good night, Joey.